Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Table of Men. Whew. Okay, so we've set this up and we've started this on a very good note. You're highly welcome to the Table of Men. I'm happy to have you guys. And as we always say, remember to always come in with your glass. It's good. You need to have something good. Hopefully, in the near future, we'll have a branded cup. So, but for now, we'll deal with this. Yeah. So please always come with your drink, with your glasses, something you love to drink, something good that you enjoy, and then that will help. So today, at the table of men, our conversation will be revolving around healthy masculinity. Um, I think that I should. I think I need to take it back to a conversation I had pretty recently about digital something about digital healthy masculinity, and it was actually a very interesting conversation. Let me see if I can pick up some of those conversations. That was last year, about December, I guess. Yep. So, we had this very interesting conversation around healthy masculinity last year. And it turns out that this is a very, 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 very important area of discussion that we need to pay attention to, especially as men. In our world today, people are just um, thinking of masculinity in terms of what people can get or what people can do, for selfish reasons. And I honestly think that that will not suffice because we are in a world where we need to be responsible. Yes, we have these talks about patriarchy and all of those kind of stuff, but we still need to take responsibility for ourselves as men and all of what comes with it. So I'm trying to see if I can pick up, those comments, but it seems I have them actually in. I think I have them in my notepad. Um, okay, I'll just flow with it. I'll flow without it, but I'm sure that I will be able to do a good job of it. Right. So let me see. 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 Okay. So sorry, but I can't get it. I'm going to have to go right ahead. All right. So this on this episode of Table of Men, our conversation is going to be on healthy masculinity, and we need to hit the ground running on some. Oh yes, found it. Yeah. All right. So it was supposed to be something around digital gentlemanship. Who is a digital gentleman? How do digital gentlemen express themselves? And one of the key things that I actually mentioned, which I think is worth mentioning, is that healthy masculinity, we need to first of all, clarify what exactly is healthy masculinity. This is a very key thing because for most people, just the same way you have this thing about alpha woman, an alpha woman, an alpha man, alpha male, alpha female, and then people have taken these things out of context, taking it to a degree of that reeks of selfishness, like pure selfishness. They are only interested in what drives the narrative they wish to promote. But we cannot think of this based on our intended narratives. Nah, it can't work that way. Our narratives are not going to they're not going to make it work. That's not it. That can't work. So I need each and every one of us to actually realize that we are in that moment where we must take responsibility first of all for our definitions, what we consider to be healthy masculinity. Because at the end of the day, this thing is this thing is something that we must be very, very mindful about. Something we must think clearly, critically about, and just ensure that we are not in error as far as this matter is concerned. So let's clarify first what exactly is healthy masculinity, because the understanding of this will really, 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 really help us. I'm trying to get this to our community so that we can all be on the same page. Okay. So, what is healthy masculinity? Because this is where the rubber meets the road. This is the first thing that we must cross. Healthy masculinity is not being the man in charge. Most of us, believe that, oh, if for you to be masculine, you must be in charge. Yes and no, because in the real sense of it, a man has a natural tendency to lead, to step forward, to take the lead, and what have you. But we need to go beyond that and really, really clarify for ourselves what exactly is healthy masculinity. Because at the end of the day, my brothers, my sisters, a healthy male is a man or a male that understands their essence of being a male. What is the essence of being male? What is the purpose of being male? That is where healthy masculinity begins. It's not in being in charge and then, taking the other gender, treating the other gender like, treating females like they're subservient or they are worthless compared to males. No, that's not it. Healthy masculinity does not drive, those dimensions. It is far from it, completely far from it. So I need us to understand that healthy masculinity uh really, does a good job of putting some things out of place. Yep. So when we clearly understand that healthy masculinity is something that we need to pay attention to, something that we must clearly define, then we are going to get this. So what exactly is healthy masculinity? I've said healthy masculinity is understanding the essence of being male and using that essence to improve the experience of others. Believe me, trust me, if you are a healthy male, you will do what other males don't do. You will take responsibility for yourself as a male, and you will ensure that your being male does not over it's not overbearing on others. That's the first part. It's not overbearing on others. You're going to be able to maximize the use of your manhood, as it were, for the benefit of others, for the benefit of society. So, healthy masculinity is actually understanding, having a healthy understanding of your role, of your essence as a male. That's where it begins. Understanding your essence as a male. The conversation we had the other time was about digital gentlemanship, and it's we spoke at length about what it means to be a gentleman. A gentleman. So when it comes to healthy masculinity, you want to pay attention to some keywords like mutual respect, value for humanity in others. A healthy masculine, a healthy male, is somebody who values the humanity in other people. A healthy male is someone who builds one another, who builds other people up, not tears them down. A healthy male is one who respects others, who places premium on mutual respect. You cannot be a healthy male and you treat other people like shit. It won't work. You cannot treat other people like trash and you think that you are healthy. No. True masculinity actually values people. True masculinity thinks highly of others, treats other people well. That's what true masculinity is. You cannot claim to be a healthy male and you think of others as things, as tools, as objects. You cannot afford to think of a female as an object to be used. That's not healthy masculinity. That's not healthy masculinity. You have to do better. You really, really have to do better. When I spoke about digital gentlemanship the last time, I said that one of the things that you must know about being a digital gentleman, and in this case about healthy masculinity, is you must know yourself. Socrates, you know, made that statement many years ago. Man, know thyself. You have to know yourself. As a man, you must know yourself. Who are you? Why do you behave the way you behave? You must know your identity. You must behave your identity. So you first must know yourself, and then you must behave your identity. You must behave your identity. You cannot afford to act just anyhow, especially out of the eyes of other people. No. You see, a true and healthy male understands his identity, knows his values, and then places premium on those things. So you need to embrace yourself. You need to embrace your essence, your identity as a male, and make the most of it. Know yourself, value yourself, and behave your identity. That's the first step of healthy masculinity. There are evolving definitions, and you have the manosphere where there's a lot about alpha males. Males must be in control, must be in charge. I haven't said the male should not be in charge, but not at the detriment of women, not at the detriment of girls, not at the detriment of boys, of others, of any other person. Being in charge does not have anything to do with putting other people down. As a healthy male, you see, you will actually be empowering others ahead of trying to shoot them down or shut them up. A healthy male always lifts other people. Always lifts other people. Let's talk about some of the strengths, some of the strength and empathy associated with being a healthy male. The first thing that I say is a truly healthy male keeps silence sacred. Keeps silence sacred. There's something sacred about silence for a man. Silence is golden for a man. A man doesn't just, you know, enter a room with his mouth and is just spewing and just talking, talking. I'm not saying you shouldn't talk, I'm not saying you shouldn't be, but one of the things that men have been known for over the years is that men always, always thrive in spaces of silence, in moments of silence. Men have what it takes to think in the middle of chaos and come up with genius. You see, that is only capable of a man who has mastered the art of silence. Silence is an art that every man must master. Silence is an art that every man must understand, place premium on, place value on. So you must master the art of silence. Keep silence sacred. Men, men and silence are 5 and 6, 1 and 2. I'm telling you. So please keep silence sacred. It is one of our strengths as men. It's one of our strengths as men. We don't approach situations with our mouth first. We approach situations with silence. We greet it with silence. And in that silence, we are able to process and bring and deliver wisdom when we get to talk. So, keep the silence. And then think. Men think. Men think. Men think. Every man must think. Or every healthy man thinks. We are designed to be introspective, right? And while we encourage men to, speak up, express themselves, be open, we must still value our personal moments, our private moments. And those are the moments that afford us the opportunity to think and think and think. Healthy masculinity demands of us to think and think deeply. A man who is not thinking will just be spewing nonsense. Because if you're not thinking, you'll be talking. And if you're talking without thinking, you'll be on the end of God knows what that is. So men, please keep silence sacred. And then think a lot, think deeply, think. Don't greet situations with words first. Greet situations with thoughts, with depth of thinking, so that when you get to speak, you speak wisdom, you speak sense. And then the fourth thing there, listen twice as much. I know we do, but we need to be conscious about this, about listening twice as much. There are many things that we would ordinarily react to, but when we listen or when we observe, we are able to, because in today's world, a lot of our Gen Zs have lost this deep thing, this intrinsic strength that we have as men. And it is important as a man to embrace this. Healthy masculinity requires that you can take pride in your makeup as a man. You are as a man, you are designed to be introspective. You are designed to be. I was in a conversation, an official conversation recently, and the man on the other end was telling me I'm a man of few words. I'm a man of few words, you know? And so when I ask him a question, he'll tell me he doesn't think that's something that he needs to answer because he's a man of few words. And so, if we get into the available details, we'll be able to get answers to that. I'm like, excuse me, I'm asking the question because I want you to answer it. You know, I mean, but what I'm just trying to say is the man was so much in tune with his essence that even in an official setting where he was supposed to respond to questions, he was emphasizing how much of a man of few words he was. And even though it was never-ending for me, I was pissed off, like, what is this? Still, I had to appreciate the man for understanding and valuing that essence about himself, that he was actually a man of few words. And yeah, it kind of made the conversation quite fast, yes, because we didn't have to say too much, but it also made the conversation a bit boring, really. But that said, the important thing here is that we must recognize this superpower that we have: silence, thinking, depth of thought, and that reticence, that thing of being reticent to observe, to listen and observe twice as much as you would talk and act. It pays to do that as a man. It really, really pays to do that. Really pays to do that. So now let's talk about positive male leadership. How does positive male leadership look? What does it look like? What does it look like? Before to hit that note, I want to talk about the toxic influencers. Yeah, the toxic influencers of males and how they bear up on male leadership. You see, toxic influences could be influencers, but toxic influences of males, you will find them to be programming, discipleship, the most, the most, the most toxic dimension of male leadership that you will find at discipleships. You know, And this is prominent among radical 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 and extremist behavioral settings. There's a way that a man can be discipled, can be programmed, that he loses touch with himself, and then is now a die-hard adherent of a particular ideology. And this is the slippery path. A man must never lose touch with himself. You see, healthy masculinity involves staying in touch with yourself. If you lose touch with yourself, you will get radicalized, you will get programmed by what will likely contradict your essence as a man. Remember that we already established that healthy masculinity values people, treats people with mutual respect, always finds ways to uphold and lift others, to add value to others. But when you lose touch with yourself and you start drilling into an ideology that is destructive, then you stop valuing people. You start treating people like they are less human. That's where you become racially abusive. That's where you become you start acting with gender bias. You start acting with social bias. You start acting with those biases that make you unhealthy as a man. Guys, we must we must differentiate between healthy male leadership and unhealthy male leadership. Because at the end of the day, what we have in the world is that people are trying to recruit disciples to themselves. People are trying to recruit disciples to themselves. And that means that they are doing everything possible to transmit their ideology into you. You have to be careful what to pick up, what to consume on social media. A lot of social media, a lot of what you have on social media today is intended to drive an agenda by subtly infiltrating your mind with those ideologies that can influence you to behave in a particular way they want you to behave, to think in a particular way they want you to think, to act in a particular way they want you to act. And the moment you begin to act and to think in those ways, you begin to drive and promote their agenda without consciously subscribing to the agenda that they had. And this agenda is usually underground. It is never really exposed. Yeah, exactly what it is. So let's just identify maybe a couple of things that you will find in unhealthy male leadership. Things that you find in men who are living, in an unhealthy way. Number one, there is self-sabotage. Men who are living unhealthy always sabotage themselves. They always sabotage themselves. And this is not good at all. Self-sabotage is a very, very, very dangerous and destructive outcome. Dangerous and destructive sign that you find among men who are unhealthy. Men with unhealthy masculinity. Self-sabotage. They do things that bring them to ruin. They do things that bring them to the banks of destruction, to the brinks of destruction. Always sabotaging themselves. They are trying to rise, but they pull themselves down. They are trying to be good, but they drag themselves into wrong things. They're trying to act right, but they get themselves into actions that conflict with their commitment to doing right. Self-sabotage is dangerous, and the bad part of this is that it can actually become a cyclical behavior and fester into learned helplessness. You can't do anything about it. You can't help yourself. You are just, locked into that pattern of behavior. Self-sabotage. Another is impulsive gratification. Oh my goodness. This is a major signal, a major sign of unhealthy masculinity. Believe me, when a man has unhealthy masculinity, trust me, he is going to be impulsively gratifying himself. He's going to look for gratification and get it at all costs, especially impulsively. This is a critical thing that you find among a lot of Gen Zs today. If you are Gen Z and you're listening to this, or you are within the ages of 19, let me say 18, and I can even extend that to 16 and say about 25, 26 right now. You are Gen Z. Oh. Let me tell you something. Impulsive gratification cannot give you, cannot help you to be healthy. And one of the things I've realized is that a lot of our Gen Zs think that, or they mistake that being 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 in that state of gratification, you know, um, getting immediate gratification, impulsive gratification, kind of gives them this sense of fulfillment. They feel like they are asserting themselves. I am not saying you should not be gratified or you should not be rewarded. That's not it. What I'm saying is that when you seek impulsive gratification, undue gratification that you are not yet due for, the question usually is, when are you due for it? You see, you get to know that by virtue of your identity. Your identity. I started by saying you must know yourself, and then you must behave your identity. So, in knowing your identity and behaving your identity, you will be able to know when you are due for gratification. But impulsive gratification is an expression of unhealthy masculinity. And you have to take that from me. I have seen things. I work with men of virtually all ages. And I have seen things. I know things. Like Dr. Joe Abba will say, I am Ezeumo, I know things. Right? I have seen things, I know things. And I can tell you, unhealthy masculinity, it reeks of impulsive gratification. You cannot afford it. You don't even need it. It's going to haunt you. And then the last sign there that I just want to note here is self-imposition. You see, when as a man you are imposing yourself on other people, you have lost it already. Self-imposition is a sign of unhealthy masculinity. And if you are a man in a position of leadership and you find yourself imposing yourself on the people that are working with you or the people that are under your leadership, you have lost it. You have unhealthy masculinity and you must do something about it critically. Self-imposition, a very bad sign of unhealthy masculinity. Very bad sign. So as a man, you have to you have to do something about this. You cannot afford to continue in a state of unhealthy masculinity where you are imposing yourself on other people, you are impulsively gratifying yourself, you are self-sabotaging. That those are destructive behaviors that you must do something about. You have to attend to this. If you don't attend to it, you're just going to find that you are essentially, destroying relationships, and setting yourself for a future, a regrettable future, actually. So, how should a healthy man behave? How should a healthy male, healthy masculinity, what should it exactly look like? I'm going to use 4 words. I'm going to describe this in 4 words, you know. And I'm taking my notes from some of the things I discussed at that last, um, because one of the core questions that we should have actually answered today, which I'm going to answer with these 4 points, is what traits define a good man today? What traits? And I'm going to give just 4 traits. There could be more, and I believe that there are more. But what 4 traits? What traits define a good man? What 4 traits portray healthy masculinity? Number one, etiquettes. Etiquettes. Most men today lack etiquettes. Etiquette, respect, courtesy, empathy. respect, courtesy, empathy. These are traits, these are qualities that you find of healthy males, of a good man. Respect, courtesy, empathy. A man that is empathetic, a man that respects people, a man that is courteous. When you need to ask people to do things, you ask them with please. You appeal to their sensibilities. You don't dish instructions. You don't just direct them. You don't just, send commands. No. And then you don't also try to manipulate people or coerce people into doing things. And you see, this is not even just about males alone. Women do this too. Women do this too. I mean, just a few days ago, I had a female from a client's office, trying to coerce me to do something that she wanted us to do. But I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have it because at the end of the day, what she's trying to nail me, pin me to the wall for, to now coerce me to do, is something that even she is guilty of. Even she is guilty of it. So etiquette is the very first thing that you will find of a good man, of a healthy male today. A sign, a quality of healthy masculinity is etiquette. And that encompasses respect for others, courtesy, and empathy. And then a second quality or a second trait is being honorable. Oh, goodness. A man must be honorable. Men, we have to live honorably. It is not everything that they put in your face that you eat. It's not everything that they put in your face that you accept. There are some men who think that whenever anybody of any female offers body and bomb to them, they have to take it. You don't have to take it. Can you be an honorable man? Like, I heard this statement that lions select what they eat. Men, select what you consume. Select what you eat. Select what you eat. It's not everything in skirts that should be appealing. It's not everything that looks attractive that you must jump after. Can you embrace or display some restraint? Can you be authentic? Can you be courageous? Show a healthy self-esteem. Be honorable. Live honorably. Let every action of yours, come off with honor. Let there be honor in your talk, in your actions. Let people think about you and think about how honorable a man that you are. I mean, this goes both ways. Women too should be honorable. But today, the focus is on healthy masculinity. So we're talking about men. Men, we must do everything within our power to ensure that we are always honorable. We set honorable examples for our sons, for our boys, for the boys around us. We must be honorable. We must be honorable. Authentic leadership, authentic manhood, courage in the face of limitations, courage in the face of obstructions, courage in the face of chaos. That is a sign, a trait of healthy masculinity. Signs of a good man. Third trait is emotional intelligence. I can't talk about this enough. You see, men, we must be emotionally intelligent. We must, I spoke earlier about being introspective, thinking, listening and observing twice as much. You see, you will not demonstrate emotional intelligence if you do not think, if you do not listen, if you do not observe. So you have to embrace that art. You must master that art of observing and understanding the emotional state of your environment, of the people around you, and then being able to utilize the insights that you have gained from that to act, to respond, to speak, to decide. I tell you, emotional intelligence is one of the biggest skills or the biggest qualities that every man can have. If you're married, you know already that you need to demonstrate a high degree of emotional intelligence to be able to have a healthy marriage, to be able to have a peaceful life. You need to, you have to. So emotional intelligence is a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer. It behoves on you as a responsible man to learn it, to master it. And final one here is discretion. Knowing what is right and wrong. Knowing what to do and when to do it. Discretion. A lot of men know what to do, but most of them cannot differentiate between what is right to do and what is wrong to do. That is where discretion comes in. You can know what to do. You can know that you should apologize, but can you also differentiate between how you should apologize and how you should not? When you should apologize and when you should not? That's discretion. A healthy male has a high dose of discretion working with them, in them rather. So it is important that as a man, you embrace and cultivate discretion and emotional intelligence. It's those last two. So you see, the four qualities, I said earlier that there could be many, there could be more than these four, but I think these four are some of the four most vital qualities that I think every man, every good man, every healthy man should cultivate. Etiquette, honor, emotional intelligence, and discretion. If you cultivate these four qualities as a man, trust me, you will do absolutely well. You will live a healthy man. You will live as a healthy man. You will be a good man that people will find endearing. People will find drawn to. So the question is, who has demonstrated healthy masculinity for you? I'm going to just drop that question. Who has demonstrated healthy masculinity? Or who has exemplified, okay, let's say, who has demonstrated healthy masculinity to you? Who has demonstrated healthy masculinity to you? Please share your response, in the comments. Let's hear what you have to say about this. Let's hear what your thoughts are in the comments, and then, yeah, oh yeah, I should actually have been typing it here. Yeah, so who has demonstrated healthy masculinity to you? Okay, I think let me see. Okay, yes. So the question is, who has modeled healthy masculinity for you? Who has modeled healthy masculinity for you? Let's have your comments. Let's have your responses in the comment section. And that would be very, very appreciated. Thank you, everyone. We have to draw the curtains on this today. Next week at the Table of Men, we will continue with purposeful masculinity. We're going to talk a lot more along the lines of healthy masculinity all through the month. The next 4 to 5 episodes. So let's see your comments in the comment section. We keep this conversation going in the comments. Thank you, everyone who has joined in. It was amazing. It was amazing and such an exciting one. Hosting you all at the Table of Men tonight. Have a splendid and amazing weekend, everyone. Cheers to you all.